In this video, I'm going to be revealing exactly how much money I earned last month as a 30-and-a-half-year-old living in Singapore. I've been working in Singapore for the last 4 to 5 years since I graduated, and like everyone else out there, I had delusional dreams of wanting to retire early. Thank God for those delusions because they eventually led me into the world of investing, and fast forward to today, I've been investing for the last 5 years, building up different income sources, hoping to one day replace my full-time job. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll be able to know exactly how much money I'm earning from each of these income sources and learn how to build an additional income source for your own retirement. So the first and smallest income source I have for the month will be from money market funds. This is something that I've been doing for the past 6 months, just putting idle money into it so that I can earn daily interest here and there and just feel like I'm earning a bit of pocket money, just like when my parents were giving me money when I was a kid. Just that now I'm putting in the money and I'm giving myself the money, so I'm a big boy right now. I invested $9,000 into the CSOP money market fund, and I do so on the Momo Singapore app. It currently has a return of 4.22% annually, and the great thing is that it pays me around $1 every single day, which is, arguably nothing too crazy, but it's a decent return for the liquidity and the freedom that I get. Moving forward, I'll also be allocating $20,000 into this fund because I have more idle funds now, because Alibaba is rising like crazy, but more about that later on. So this might actually become a bigger income source for me in the following months, but for the month of January, it has paid me $34.62, which is around $46.73 in Sing dollars. You can also see from this snapshot over here, it pays me every single day. You can see the dollar amount sort of credited into my account every single day, and you can see the principal amount at the very top as well, which is how much money I invested into the Momo Singapore app. So the second income source will be dividends. This is specifically from the Singapore savings bonds. It pays me around 3% yield every year, and it lasts for the next 10 years. There's this strategy called the bond ladder, which is what I did, and that ensures that I get payouts from it every single month. I invested $35,000, and this paid me a very nice number of $69 this month. If you're a normal human being watching my video, you probably have this same thought: wow, that's actually a pretty low return for so much money. Why am I not investing this money into something with higher returns? I'll tell you the exact reason. I'm keeping this money here because I'm forecasting that I'll be buying my house sometime this year, so I need the money to be relatively liquid and I can just withdraw this money by the next month. So whenever you want some liquidity and freedom in terms of pulling out the funds, you'll probably be sacrificing a little bit of returns, but that's fine. It is what it is. There's pros and cons of putting your money everywhere. The third income source will be cashback from the high interest bank accounts. Most of my cash reserves are in here, and I specifically use the UOB1 bank account. This pays around 3+% interest as well, but it's not as stable as the Singapore savings bonds because the interest rate kind of fluctuates with the world or the global changes and the global interest rates. So there are two main criteria to hit to qualify for this interest rate. The first will be to deposit $1,600 of your salary every month, and the second will be to spend $500 on a valid credit card. I keep around $40,000 in this account, and in January it paid me a total of $120.86. Finally, we are into the territory of triple digits. Still not life-changing money, but it's money that can be invested every single month. The fourth income source will be selling options. This is quite a good month for options, primarily because the Alibaba stock that I'm selling on options on have been doing very, very well. It was in a slump for the longest time, but it has now bounced back because of all the world news and everything that's going on. Not going to go too much into it, but this is quite a complicated investment tool, so I honestly do not recommend it for beginners. Please do your own research and educate yourself sufficiently before you dive into the world of options. I have been deliberating this for quite a while and sort of procrastinating this a little bit on releasing a video on how to sell options, but I guess a lot of people have been asking me in the comments, or maybe I guess a few people have been asking me in the comments, so I might do a video like this in the future as well. I also sell options on the Momo Singapore app, so you can see that a good amount of my monthly passive income comes from the Momo Singapore app itself. I use around $30,000–$40,000 to invest into selling options every month, and in January it paid me a total of $754.65, which is an amazing month for options. Let me just be clear, it's not always like this. My usual month is around $200 to $300 instead, so this is definitely an outlier for this month. Actually, February is going to be even more crazy, so stay tuned for that video as well. But nevertheless, I'm just going to take this win because nobody's going to complain about having too much money. The fifth and final income source will be my full-time job. I work as a physiotherapist in a private clinic in Singapore, and by far that pays the best of all my income sources. Honestly, the point of this video is not to get a full-time job or not to get a job that pays well. I'm just just documenting my finances, and so far my full-time job pays the best, which is something that I'm trying to actively invest and replace this job in the future, or rather make it a bit more optional and I can just work for the fun of it and enjoy working a lot more. So I saw quite a lot of patients this month, so my salary was actually quite decent. After CPF deductions, I earned a total of $9,110.50. Adding everything up, this brings the grand total of my January monthly income to $10,101.71. That's a very nice 5-digit number that everyone is going crazy on the internet for. Does that mean that I'm going to be able to invest all $10,000? You're honestly insane if that's what you think, because what about the expenses of the month? And that very nicely brings us to the payday routine of the month so that I can determine exactly how much money I'm investing for the month itself. I do a money diary video every month to document exactly how much money I spend for the money and improve on any of the mistakes I made. The payday routine is simple. I just calculate all my income sources and expenses with the budgeting spreadsheet, and then I subtract them to get the net income for investing. In fact, it actually does it for me because all the calculations are in, and the spreadsheet just very nicely calculates how much money you're earning, how much money you're spending, and how much left over that you can invest as well. So for the month of January, I spent a total of $2,652.68. I'm very proud of this myself because this number is usually much higher, somewhere around the $3,000 region. I haven't been balling out so much in January, probably because I was so busy, but you know, it is what it is, and I've spent lesser, which is fantastic. I also have to buffer in $600 into my travel fund so that I can travel freely whenever, you know, I take trips every couple months here and there. This means that the total expense in January is $3,252.68. The total income in January will also be $9,300.36 after subtracting a money market fund and options income that I do not take out of the Momo Singapore app. After subtracting the total expenses, I'll be left with $6,047.68. This is the net income that I'm left with that I can just invest freely and ball out whenever I want. I'm also saving money for my house every month, so $3,000 goes back into the UOB One bank account to generate more interest at the same time as I'm waiting to get my house. This leaves me with a final total of $3,047.68 to invest in January. So what exactly am I going to invest in January? I'm honestly a very lazy investor, so usually I just add to my dividend portfolio of either CapitaLand REITs or Ascendas REITs. The current portfolio has around $28,000 into Ascendas REITs, $22,000 into CapitaLand REITs, and around $9,000 into DBS Bank stock, so it kind of comes about to around $60,000, you know, give or take. This means that with a 5% dividend yield annually, it should pay me passively around $3,000 every year, which is pretty nice money that I don't have to work for anymore. However, since 2025 has started, it's actually made me think of things in a different way. I'm actually a little bit more inclined to think of more creative ways to invest rather than building the dividend portfolio. It's honestly quite nice to receive $500 to $700 a month that I get dividends, but overall it's quite a slow way of generating long-term substantial passive income. I can see that the prices kind of fluctuate quite a bit, so whenever I continuously buy, it almost looks like there is not much capital gains, and you know, I'm actually not hoping for any capital gains. It's just getting passive dividends, and a couple $100 is nice. It's just not life-changing money that I can do anything meaningful with. I'm honestly stuck on two main things I want to invest more in 2025 right now, and number one is to really dive into what Alex Hormozi says, which is to invest into the SME 500 instead of the S&P 500. What he basically is trying to say is to invest heavily into your own education to increase your earning potential so that I can have 5x, 10x returns rather than the traditional S&P 500 ETFs. How that would look like would be investing into my YouTube channel and TikTok account and probably take courses, mentorship that can probably increase my audience and scale my social media income. Truth be told, I actually haven't come to a decision on how exactly I should spend my investment money yet, but I'll update you guys more as I continue on this investment journey. Spoiler alert, I already bought a course this month that will help me with YouTube, so you know, a lot more spending is going to be in February as well. Hopefully this video helps you guys to see the different income sources and find one that's suitable for yourself. It's definitely not an exhaustive list. You definitely can find more things out there. Go, you know, watch other YouTubers, watch other people, read blogs, articles, or whatever things to find an income source for you. But if you really want to get started, I think the money market funds might be something really easy and low risk for you to get started with. If you enjoyed this video here, then you'll probably enjoy this video here on how to get started with investing on the Momo Singapore app. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day as usual, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye.